Hey friends. Well, I'm having a flood of insights kind of show up this morning. I did a slightly longer meditation than usual because it's the weekend and Annalise spent the night at her grandmother's, so I have a little more time in the morning. And I've had kind of a flurry of things. At first I thought I was just kind of mind surfing, but then I realized that there's a connection between all these thoughts. As I've been talking about for several days now, probably a couple weeks, I'm in a phase where I am really reevaluating what I'm doing and what I've done and my intentions for how to go forward, for what to make my life about. And Katie had me draw a card yesterday from a kind of like a tarot deck. It's not really tarot, but it was something like a tarot deck, and I got the card called the Magician, and the Magician is basically a provocation to start a new venture. Don't read any more books, don't take any more courses, do the thing. And I was like, wow, this is appropriate. So I'm feeling that. I'm also about to go on another trip. I'm about to take Annalise up to Michigan again, just the two of us. I'll be up there with, my parents and my brother. It's going to be some nice family time with different family than last time. Leaving Mama here at home. So, and that's the part that I've had a lot of things showing up around that too, and it felt kind of unrelated to my finding clarity, but I actually ultimately, I'll just kind of talk you through it, and I think the parallels and the connections will become clear, because I'm about to spend a bunch of time with Annalise, which is always wonderful, and I've been observing her recently. I've had a lot of time with her this summer, just the way Katie's schedule has worked out, my schedule has worked out. I've ended up taking Annalise to a lot of new activities and being the one who sort of introduces her to new environments, new teachers. And one thing I've learned about her, which I already kind of knew, but she has a real desire, a real need almost, to feel competent, to feel like she has mastered things. She doesn't really like the feeling of not knowing how to do something, or even really of learning how to do something. I think she likes the feeling of learning, but she doesn't like the experience of her lack of knowing something being witnessed by anyone else. The other day I was practicing violin with her, and we framed it not as I was going to help her practice violin, but as we, Annalise and I, were going to help her. Like, she has this baby doll, and we were teaching baby violin. And in the course of teaching baby violin, I could give corrections to baby, which Annalise would adopt. But if I looked at her, or if I directed my comments at her, it started to, she was like, or wait, are you talking to me or are you talking to baby? Let's get this clear, Papa. Who are you talking to? Because I already know. And it's it's something that I on one level it's an endearing thing to witness in such a young person, that she has such high standards for herself and such a kind of such a desire to command her skills. And I also feel a bit of a potential obstruction to learning if we're not, if the goal of learning is so connected to how our skills are externally perceived. And this is where the connection comes in, because I think about what I spend my time doing and some of the ways in which I've spent my time, and I still do spend a good amount of my time pursuing things for reasons that even when they feel internal, they're kind of external. Or they may be internal at this point to me, but they're not soul purpose alignment stuff. And that means that I'm in the house every day, at the piano or wherever, projecting into the space the vibe of external expectations. And Annalise is picking up on it. Kids are so malleable. They are, it's like we think we can control what we teach our kids and what they get from us. We have almost no ability to regulate what we transmit other than taking total control of our own life and our own energy and our own mind and our own body. It's just like Sadhguru says, you get your body under control, you get your mind under control, you get your energy under control. Little by little, you get a greater and greater percentage of your life in alignment with what you really want, with our deep soul purpose. And wherever we are in all of that, that's what we're transmitting. There's no other way. There's no way to fake that. And I think especially with a kid that's very, very sensitive. All kids are very, very sensitive to this. So it's like, but our own kid always feels the most sensitive because we have the most contact and we see the most of the responses. But certainly Annalise is incredibly sensitive to that, and she just manifests the subconscious aspects of what I'm projecting and makes them conscious. For her, they're conscious. For her, she picks that up, and it's all just it's just very tangible and concrete and direct. So where I am in my work and what I'm really about, and getting kind of out of the rut, I would call it, of faking myself, faking to myself, pretending to myself. That's important, not just for me, but for her, and not just for her, but for me. I had another flash yesterday. And I don't know even where this came from. I just had her. I took Annalise to the pool, and I had this flash of insight that that there's a limit to what I can do for her. And it wasn't a thing where it felt like I was withdrawing my willingness to do anything for her. I mean, as a parent, I feel like I would do literally anything for her. But I also, there was just this impression, this momentary impression of, well, hold on, she's an autonomous human being. She's not fully autonomous yet. She's not quite 4 years old, so she's got some years of dependency remaining. But she's on a soul. She's here in the world as a being living her life. I have a job to do relating to her, but I do not dictate the outcome of her experience or of her choices or of her life. And if I'm, and there was again a connection to my own lack of fully embracing my thing and putting a lot of energy into my child in a way that was clearly not healthy, because it was a proxy. It was using my child as a proxy. Again, I think this is relatively it's relatively subtle stuff, but it's there. When I look, it's there. So this moment in my life and the way that I am, and the way that I am in relationship to my parent, to my daughter as a parent, is really showing up in some big ways. And I'm about to get some really intense time with her. So I think I'm just tracking that. I'm tracking my own awareness of this, and really kind of looking at how significant it is that I get myself on track. I make those choices to feed my soul. Because that's really what this is about. That's really what my journey is about. And it will involve doing my job at the highest possible level as a parent. But ultimately, there's also a willingness to respect your child's integrity. And respect them as a spiritual being that's complete, that has it, they have their own universe. The role of parent the dependency of a child can create a sense of ownership or responsibility that for their life that's not real. That's what's showing up today. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate you. Love you much. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.